It's time for the Jesse T Show. Yes, Jesse T with you here on the Jesse T Show on a Tuesday in Southern California as the sun begins to set over the Southland here on the West Coast. It's good to have you along with me, Jesse T. And I'm out here on the streets, walking the streets for a living. No, I'm not standing on the corner, you guys. I'm not selling Jesse T, but thank you very much. No, but I am walking the streets for a living. I've been making that joke for a number of years. And the reason why I've been making that joke for a number of years is because I do walk the streets for a living. Saying hi to Tony. And saying hi to Tony, man. I got two Tonys. I got a T-O-N-Y, Tony Fidel, and I got Tony Fabricio. Hey, Tony, how you doing, buddy? So, yeah, I'm out on the streets here walking for a living. Walking the miles with the smiles. What a lot of people don't know, they ask me all the time, Jesse T, what do you do during the day? I mean, you do your show every day of the week, and sometimes you're rolling around with Hugh Jackman, and you're rolling around with Jean-Claude Van Damme, or Mayor Garcetti, or, you know, you're talking to senators and congressmen, or you're chasing wildfires in the mountains. What do you do all day long? I mean, is that what you do, just the Jesse T Show? We see you on red carpets all over, and special events and charitable events and sporting events. Saying hi to John. We see you in your undisclosed location. We see you in the studio. We never know where you're going to see you and Dan the Man. Sometimes Hollywood Boulevard. Whatever, man. You just might even show up in my living room. That's what they say to me. I said, well, what I do during the day, they would say, well, do you just hang out with the celebrities, the rich and famous? And I say, hey, they hang out with me, the rich and famous. Well, at least that's what I tell people. I could be richer and I could be more famous. But that's cool. Well, actually what I do 80% of the day, I've been in the entertainment business since I was before 10 years old. I'm third generation. My grandfather worked at Warner Brothers Studios for 51 years. He was hired by Jack Warner back in 1938. My father was a film guy. He worked at 20th Century Fox, Universal, and Deluxe, everything to do with film. When there used to be film, because there's not much film anymore, you know. Pretty much everybody does everything digitally now. And oh man, those are so cool. But film is kind of cool though. So my father did everything from editing, negative recovery, processing of film, saving the silver nitrate, everything to touch in film. Printing, graphics. He did that for about 35 years. And my godfather was the voice of many radio stations, but he's in the Country Hall of Fame here in Newman. He was at KLAC 570, AM KLAC here in Los Angeles, doing country radio, top 40 country radio, during the youth of my life. And that's kind of where I got the bit by the radio bug. I posted up something on my Facebook timeline page about that earlier. Saying hi to Becky Romero. But people ask me, what do you do during the day? Well, way back a long time ago, I got my real estate license. And I started selling real estate. I got my license in '79. I'd already been in the business with my mother, unlicensed, for a little while. Not doing much as a kid, of course. I couldn't really get licensed. And by the early 1980s, when I got on the staff at KDAY doing top 40 hip-hop and rap and dance music, bringing hip-hop to the world, I'm one of the OG guys at 1580 AM stereo KDAY, the Brown Beauty on duty, Jesse Torero. And of course, we did so many things. You probably know about that if you followed me. If you didn't, you can check it out. Just Google search on my name and you'll get it. But I started my real estate business, and then I eventually got my broker's license at the end of the 80s, and then got into loans as well in the 90s, and got my notary license about 10, 12 years ago. and went to law school. I'm not an attorney. I studied law, but I'm not an attorney. Got a business degree, communications degree, and that's kind of what I did to get started in my life. And then I got into the entertainment business in front of the camera on the mic. And that's a part of my life that you guys know. But what you don't know is that even to this day, I sell real estate. I list houses. I find buyers great buys. I do loans, refis, and I walk the streets for a living the old-fashioned way. I door knock. It's called farming. And so what I do most of the time is I work neighborhoods and talk to folks about selling their houses. Kind of the old school way. You know, I love the technology, but the old school. So one of the areas that I work is an area I've worked for about 40 years, and it was one of my original neighborhoods where I kind of grew up. And the high school that I went to, right here, was Polytechnic High School. John H. Francis Polytechnic High School. That's where I went to school. And I graduated from here in 1978 from Polytechnic High School. Saying hi to Charlotte in Sun Valley, California, in San Fernando Valley. And this was one of the newest schools in the Los Angeles Unified School District when I went there in the 70s. It actually got put in the late 50s. But, you know, a 20-year-old school is still relatively new. See these fences and these gates? They didn't have any of that. And those lockers over there, you probably can't see them. I'll see if I can kind of redirect it. See those blue things right there? Those are lockers right there. They don't work anymore. They welded them all shut because of drugs and stuff like that, and violence and gang violence. But when I went here, these gates weren't here. These fences weren't here. It was an open campus, and those lockers actually worked. And so I walk the streets of the old neighborhood, and I do what we call farming. I pass out my flyers, my business cards. I tell people about the last property I sold. And when I bought one of my first houses in this neighborhood, back in the late 1970s, early 1980s, my parents paid $11,000 for their house in 1963. I paid $32,000 for a house today, back then in 1982, for a house today in the same neighborhood that I could sell for $625,000 to $650,000 for the same house. I paid $32,000 in 1982 for these houses. My parents in '63 paid $11,000 for these houses. In the late 50s, these houses were all put in here, and the big, huge developments and farms and wheat farms and ranchers were being bought by developers, and they built millions of homes in the San Fernando Valley all at once. And so in the late 1950s, you could buy these houses for $7,500. Brand new. 3-bedroom, 2-bath houses. So this is the high school I went to, Poly High School. And Poly High School was a great school. I could tell you stories about each inch of this school. The Jesse T experience at Poly High School, where I played football, a star football player, baseball player, wrestler, track, shot put, field. We even had some boxing programs here at the time. Oh man, I could tell you stories. But anyway, that's for another show. Saying hi to Charlotte Foran and Del Bird, baby. My tax guy, Del Bird. You got to check him out. Del Bird, go on his Facebook site. He does taxes. He's one of the best out there, man. He's helping me with a situation right now. So these houses over here, like this house right here. Let me show you this house walking up. There'll be a black truck in front of it. This is Peoria Street. And in 1982, 83, when I really started working my real estate business as a 22-year-old, yes, That's a long time ago, yesteryear of my life. A house like this right here. You see this house right here with this black truck? Beautiful house. Look how pretty that is. That's a 3-bedroom, 1 3/4 bath house. How do I know? Because I've been in it. I've been in every single one of these houses. I've been in 3,000 homes or more in this general neighborhood. I've walked into, last estimate I gave, about 80,000 homes in the city of Los Angeles I've been in for real estate reasons over the years. I mean, I've been doing this 40 years. So this house right here was about $7,000 in 1949, 1950 when this house was built. In 63, it was about 11,000, 10 to 11,000. In 82, this house, you could buy this house in 1982 for about $30,000 to $35,000 because I bought one. In 1990, you could buy this house for $290,000 in 1990. In 2000, you could buy this house for $400,000. Today, you will have to spend $625,000 to buy this house. This is why yesterday, if you catch a show on the timeline, you gotta buy something, folks. You have to buy something. It's long term. $625,000 to $650,000 for this house that I bought in 1982 for $30,000 to $35,000. 1,400 square feet, 3-bedroom, 1 3/4 bath on a 7,000 square foot lot with an alley in the back. $625,000 to $650,000 today. Let that sink in. So what I do is, about 80% of the day, I walk the neighborhood. This was one of the first neighborhoods that I sold in back when I got started. Clark Tang, what's up, Clark Tang? Richard Shima has us on. Thanks a lot, Richard. Clark Tang's a terrific Wing Chun Sifu, and we enjoyed a couple times. We cheesawed and rolled hands for a few minutes, so it was a lot of fun. He's a terrific Wing Chun man. I studied Wing Chun for, gosh, probably over 30 years now. I never taught it. I'm not a teacher, but I've gone through the whole system and love that art form. Anyhow, these houses, what I'll do is I'll come out here usually after 12 o'clock and I'll pass out my flyers, and inevitably I always run into 3, 4, 5 people and that I know or don't know, and I pass out the flyer. I tell them about me. Some remember me, some don't, and I might talk about their parents, especially if they're younger, because I knew their parents. Sometimes I knew their mom and dads, and I knew their grandparents, because when I was younger, those were the parents of my buddies. And this was a neighborhood I had a lot of friends on, because the high school on the other side of the camera here was where I went to high school, here in this part of the San Fernando Valley. We had a great sports program too. Goes to show you how something has changed here. See this open area? This is a corner of the high school. This was known as the ag area, agriculture area. We used to grow tomatoes and cantaloupes and grapes and peaches and apples and watermelon, and we used to have chickens in here. It was agriculture, because Polytechnic means a technical school. When it was put in, there were certain techniques that kids could learn a trade and go out there right after high school and get a job somewhere. And there was still a lot of ranching and farming done here in the San Fernando Valley. I know it's hard to believe that, but there still was when I graduated from high school. Well, there's none of that left here now. And so they converted this area into, they got some sort of horticulture thing going on over here, but they really converted this area into a daycare center for those underage teenage girls who've had babies and got pregnant. They can house their kids here and go to school. My, how the world has changed. That would have never happened in my day at all. So what I would do is I would walk these neighborhoods. I do this every day. This is one of 4 neighborhoods that I walk every day, 20 to 50 houses a day, and then shake the trees, you know, let people know that I'm still around, that Jesse T is still here to be. That's right, rocking those houses for you and me at www.buyjesset.com or www.sellerjesset.com or www.mrsoldjesset.com. And that's how I get business and create new business. And then after that, I go and I hit the phones for about an hour, do some cold calling. It's not really cold calling like we used to do, but it's I have a software system that spits out potential people that want to list their house, and I spend about an hour to an hour and a half on the phone pretty much every day that I can do it, asking people, talking to people, chatting with people on the phone about their houses, and always looking for houses to sell because the prices are way up. And then usually in the morning, I'm in the office taking care of all my paperwork, because, you know, there's 2 concepts of business. There's working on your business and working in your business. And working on your business means that you're creating new money. Working in your business means that you're maintaining your business structure so that you can go out and work on your business and find new prospects and new money, new dollars, new clients, new customers. So the first part of the day is usually working in my business, and then the last part of the day is usually working on my business. And that's what I do every day. And you wear out the shoe leather. It's the old-fashioned way. When I started 40 years ago, this is how we did it. It's not done this way anymore. People don't do this in my business anymore. I'm a relic. I'm a Tyrannosaurus Rex. I'm a Brontosaurus. I combine this with all the new age technologies, but I go the old-fashioned way. Why? Simply because nobody does it. And success comes from those that are willing to do that which nobody else is willing to do, or doesn't know how to do, or not willing to learn to do, or doesn't have anybody to learn from to do. That's where success comes out of. And it comes out of repetitiveness over and over and over. And that's how you become successful in anything that you want to do. So I did about 30 to 35 houses right here. And there's 2 contacts. One, I've known the family for 40 years. Now the mother is getting really old. She's about 80. And the son, who I remember, he's a little younger than I am. And he's going to talk to his mom. And then I found the second family. I remember when they bought the house. I remember the house that the people they bought it from, and I remember the people they bought it from, the people they bought it from. So I was telling them, because that house, I used to have friends in that house, or it's actually a pretty girl there, when I was like 12 years old. Yeah. What can I tell you guys? Me, Jesse T, always. Hey, look at. I can't help. When I tell you guys, I can't help but being me, Jesse T. I've been Jesse T my whole life, so this is nothing new, you know. Anyway, saying hi to Mohammed Hassan and Dean Olson, and saying hi to RJ Johnson. I like RJ Johnson's name. So that's kind of what I do all day long, 5 days a week. I don't usually do it on Saturday and Sunday because I'm usually showing houses, or writing deals, or negotiating something, or on my hands and knees begging for somebody to work with me. Please, please. Oh man, you do what it takes to get a sale, let me tell you. And that's what the name of the game is. I've never worked for anybody in my lifetime. I've always been a person that has been self-motivated, self-energized, and has worked for myself. I can't imagine somebody pulling my heartstrings and my purse strings and telling me I got to be somewhere or I don't get paid. Huh? What? No, I've always worked for myself. There's a cost to that, but the fabulous part about that has been I've always been my own boss. But you got to be really self-motivated when you do that and self-energized, and you have to follow a plan. Believe me, if you don't have a plan, man, you're just like the wind blowing through trees. Any direction the wind goes, you go. So hardest thing is staying agendized to the plan. That's a Jesse T word. That's Torero speak. You know, like a coincidence, it's actually quinkadink. So we've walked past over here a dozen homes that I've sold over the years. In this neighborhood of 1,200 homes, I've moved about 600 to 700 homes I've sold just in this neighborhood alone. And I've sold thousands and thousands and thousands of properties in my career. I think the last count I counted was about 4,000 transaction sites. Believe me, I'm not the top dog. There's a guy, one of my gurus has been in business about 5 years to 6 years, 8 years longer than me. He's like up there around 6,000 transaction sites. He's one of the guys I turn to when I need some information, one of the very few guys, because I usually can figure it out myself. But it's always good to have gurus in the business, any business that you do. But the interesting thing is, as night has fallen around me in one of my farm areas, I got to another farm area earlier before this one. And tomorrow I have 2 other farm areas. And one of the interesting things is that this way of doing the business, belly to belly, face to face, eye to eye, mouth to ear, hand to hand, smile to smile, you're building rapport, trust, and confidence. And you're able to engage people in a very human type way, not this sterile, antiseptic way on the internet. Though I do use all those things as well. This is Kohl's department store right here, okay? And it was Mervyn's when Mervyn's was in business. It was a dump before all these houses were here. It was reclaimed. They used to pull rock and gravel out of here. They filled it all back up. And when I was a kid, we used to run our dirt bikes in here. We had a great dirt bike track, man. With the boops and the alley-oops, we run our dirt bikes and our mini bikes and our bicycles. When we first got started, we used to shoot BB guns and play army in here, shoot jackrabbits. Yeah, I know, catch gophers, you know, catch lizards. There were snakes, rattlesnakes in here. We'd chop them off, strip them, and eat them, cook them on a flame. I'm telling you, guys, you got to understand something. I grew up in a different time zone, and the world was a different place here where we are today. Though you got the best of both. You got that country feel in the city. And that was the cool thing about it, living and growing up here, and working here over the years. So I've been working this year. I'm going to work my old original neighborhoods real hard and continuous and steady, because I'm like one of the last guys left. There were 3 other brokers that were here when I was here: Mike Kofsky, Danny Acala, Mimi Molina. They're all gone. They're all gone. And I'm the only one. So I basically laid siege to them, and I beat them all, right? Oh, amazing. So this is what I do all day long. I do this with commercial property developments. I work on big deals, like a big casino deal I'm working on in Las Vegas. A couple big refi deals that I'm doing for a guy in New York. I do a lot of stuff in the real estate business. So hopefully I can be of some service and help to you. I just wanted to give you a little taste of what I do every day here in my life, all in the day of the life of yours truly, Jesse T, as we start off 2019. So the other time, I'm doing the Jesse T Show, like right here. And I do the Jesse T Show, and we're out on red carpets and celebrity events and charity events, and we're out on different events for our politicians and trying to help society, and go to concerts and comedy halls, covering the hot button issues of the day, political talk, fun talk, goofiness with Dan the Man and Jesse T, voiceovers, commercials, our TV show, our radio show, and our entertainment business. So that's what I do about the other 20 or 30% of the time. My day intermixes like a giant sponge sucking up all kinds of water. You never know where Jesse T is going to arrive next. Saying hi to Pauline Jester. Hey Pauline, how you doing? Thanks a lot for checking us out. Having some fun here on the Jesse T Show today. Saying hi to my buddy Frank Valvo. I'm gonna wave to him. Saying hi to Jose Lamas, Dean Olson, Mo, and RJ, and Clark, and Richard, and the list goes on. Dale Bird, great taxman. Check him out on Facebook. Charlotte, Mark, saying hi to Becky, John, Tony Baloney, you ain't no phony. There we go. All right, so I'm about ready to get into the Gray Ghost 2 here and be on my way to our next adventure, which is making some calls, dialing for dollars. The Jesse T Show tomorrow, the great Brett Hunt will be with me in studio at KTNT Radio and TV Network on the Power Voices global radio network of DSAW Media in the city of Los Angeles, down by Sony Studios. We're having Brett Hunt, writer, producer, actor, comedian, and businessman and recording artist, coming on down because he's got 3 brand new films coming out this year, and he's going to be starring in a Amazon show that's going to be starting up here very shortly in the first part of this year. It's ready to go, so we want to catch up with Brett and see what he's been doing. He's red hot and rolling, bringing you the best of the best. Tomorrow, live on the Jesse T Show. Write this number down, 424-227-9461, 424-227-9461. We invite you to give us a call and hang out with us on the Jesse T Show tomorrow. Give us a call and we'll take your phone calls too. All right? All right, well, that's it for me. Good to have you along, and we'll see you next time. Live at 5, right here on the Jesse T Show. See ya.